welcome to this conversation with Sue Shackleton about helping children around the world read time. I'm just going to do a brief introduction. So after a 30-year career, and correct me if I'm wrong, after a 30-year career working for a variety of large organisations, Sue is now enjoying running her own business and doing something completely different. Sue and her brother are co-directors of EasyRead Time Teacher Limited. They produce and sell their own range of wall clocks and other educational resources, all designed to help children learn to tell the time. Telling the time on analogue clocks is an essential life skill, but nowadays a traditional skill that many children are failing to grasp in their primary education. So they aim to put that right with these beautifully designed wall clocks. Yep, I've introduced Sue. Do you want to say hello?
Hello, everybody.
And we'll start. So firstly, just tell us a little bit about EasyRead. You know, how did it all come about?
Okay, yes, so I'm Sue. I'm in business with my brother Roger. Roger lives in Australia, in Sydney. And he's a little bit older than me, actually. He's quite old now. When his children were young, his daughters in particular really struggled to learn to tell the time, and he wrestled with trying to help them and looked around for resources and couldn't find anything that really did the trick, and he ended up designing a clock face and a method to help them learn that worked. And this is 20 odd years ago, and at the time he thought there's a business in making these, and he did try to start it as a business, but then he couldn't find the right method of making and distributing the clocks that he'd designed. So he kept it on the back burner in the back of his mind for about 20 years. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, he thought he'd try again. And it just happened to coincide with me being made redundant from a long corporate career. So I said I'd help him. So our products are designed by my brother. They're made in China. He went to China, found a manufacturer, and we started shipping. We ordered our first load of stock in, what year is it now? It's 2016, isn't it? We ordered our first load of stock in late 2012 and shipped some to Australia and some to the UK. And we formed a website and we just started selling online. And that's really how it came about. It's just my brother and me and the products that he's designed. Yep.
Oh, brilliant. So when did you realise that they had kind of international potential, that you could sell them anywhere, really?
Well, almost from the outset, really, because we quickly started selling in the UK and Australia. We started selling off our website. That was slow at first, but then I listed them on Amazon in the UK, and they started selling really quickly on Amazon. And I would say that for anybody who's got their own product, that if they want to launch it quickly, put it on Amazon, because you cannot compete with Amazon for search engine optimization and getting it on the front page of Google. You might as well, if you're selling your own product and nobody's competing with you and you want to get it at the top of the search results, put it on Amazon. You know? So that I've been selling on Amazon ever since, and it's been very good for us. And then we realised quite quickly that we may as well sell on the other Amazon sites as well. So within a couple of months, we listed our products on Amazon in the US. And they were slow to start, but after a little while they got going, and we now sell in the US on Amazon, and that accounts for about a third of my turnover, just selling on Amazon in the US. And we use fulfillment by Amazon. We ship directly from China to Amazon, put the stock in an Amazon warehouse, and off it goes. I just monitor it from my computer, you know.
How else have you started getting your products overseas? Are there any other routes to market that you've tried?
Well, we're about to start on that, really. So, well, I should say, if I talk about Australia for a bit, I mean, it's been helpful to us because we do have a director in Australia, so it makes it easier. He's selling in his homeland as well as me selling here. There's no Amazon in Australia, so we sell off our own website, but there we've got quite a big range of distributors. What we quickly discovered is that because there isn't a big online retail company like Amazon, there are lots and lots of small online sellers in Australia who do very, very well. There's lots of small businesses that are like mums selling from home, who've got a little online retail business. Often they are working from home, but they can be very, very successful. And we've got an online retailer in Australia who is one of those home-based businesses, and she sells more of our product than the major educational distributor in Australia.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Is amazing. She is a social media queen. So, you know, so they're really worth tapping into. If anybody wants to know who all the mum website sellers are in Australia, I know who they are.
That leads me really nicely onto my next question about social media, actually. So
Yeah.
what sort of activity do you do? How important is it to your business?
Yeah, we do quite a lot of social media activity, and our distributors do a lot of social media activity about our products. But we just Facebook, Twitter, mainly that really. You know, Facebook, Twitter. I've started a YouTube channel so that we can put some videos online. And but Facebook, targeted Facebook advertising is our main method of advertising.
Brilliant. And how much research do you do when you enter new markets? So obviously with Australia, you had quite a unique insight.
Yeah. I wouldn't say we do an awful lot of research, to be honest. We just try it out. So, like with the States, we didn't really do any research. We knew they spoke English. We knew children had to learn how to tell the time. I'm actually missing an opportunity here because I haven't showed you one of my products, but this is my best-selling clock. This is our EasyRead Time Teacher clock. It's designed to help children learn to tell the time in terms of minutes past and minutes to the hour. And with it, we have a simple teaching method. And it's the teaching method that marks it out as different to any other clock, really. But this, for example, this clock, you know the Cyber weekend before Christmas, Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Well, in the UK, this was the best-selling wall clock on Amazon all that weekend, really. So,
oh, wow, that's amazing.
Can't believe it. You know. And, you know, we do pretty well. We do well on Amazon, really. It suits our type of product. What was I talking about? Australia?
Research.
Oh, research. No, we don't do much research. Actually, what we do is use Amazon. Well, in the countries where we sell on Amazon, we use Amazon to do our research. We just create a listing, send a small amount of products, and see what happens. And if it sells, we send more. And that's it. You know.
Brilliant. And what
We sort of don't do research, we just do it. You know?
Trial and error.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as another example, we sent some stock to Japan to try selling it on Amazon, and we sent 200 clocks to Japan and listed them, you know, engaged a translation agency to help us, and we listed them on Amazon. And I've been there a year, and we've sold about 5. So it doesn't always work, and I'm sure we could find a way to sell them, but we haven't found it yet.
So what plans have you got in the next year, 2, 3 years to sort of market and establish your brand further overseas?
Yeah, well, we've got our sights on America at the moment. So as well as selling on Amazon is almost effortless, really. Well, it's not completely effortless, but it is fairly. But we want to sell into the educational market because it's more. Because with our products, we have 2 markets. We have schools, but we also have families and the home. So our Amazon sales are largely to families, not schools. So we want to try and get into the education retail market in the States. So last week, we went to our first trade show in the States, which was in Las Vegas, and it was called EdExpo. And that is a trade show for manufacturers of educational products to sell into the educational retail trade in the States. So there were no schools there, it was educational retailers who were visiting the show. And that was all jolly interesting. it's not a massive show. It's nowhere near as big as this. It was in a hotel in Las Vegas. I don't know, there was probably about 100 exhibitors there, and but all the major independent a lot of independent shops and all the major educational retail groups were there visiting and looking for products, and we picked up loads and loads and loads of contacts and potential orders. Unfortunately, we weren't able to take orders and actually sell there because apart from our Amazon stock, we haven't got stock in a warehouse in the States ready to fulfill orders yet. We went as a fact-finding mission to decide whether we're going to send a container load of stock and find a fulfillment warehouse, and we've come back and thought, yes, we will. So that's our next step, really.
Well, that's research.
Yes, that is research.
That is research.
Good point. That is research. Yeah, it was quite expensive research, actually, but it was research. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to businesses when they're looking to attend trade shows then overseas?
Oh, it's quite tricky. I mean, it's expensive, but it is worth doing, and there's no way. We've made a lot of contacts now. We've not only met all the main players that we're likely to sell to, we also met a really nice group of sales representatives who said they would represent us and actually go out and sell our products for us once we've got them there. So that was good. And there just is no substitute for being there, meeting the people and seeing them face to face, being able to demonstrate your product and all that. So we couldn't have got to where we are now without going to the show. It was quite a big outlay, but worth doing. I mean, the practical aspects of doing it are quite hard. Getting your stand there, having stock to show, it was quite a lot. It was a lot of work to get there, but we did do it. So, and now I've done one, I just thought, I can go anywhere now, So, and Abu Dhabi next, I think, or there's one in Hong Kong, and also. Not just educational shows. I've been thinking I might go to the toy fair in Nuremberg next year. That's apparently a big show. So I think we will do a few more now.
Brilliant. And what about challenges? What have been the biggest challenges for you selling overseas or looking to sell into new markets?
Well, everything's a challenge, really. The logistics of actually getting your stock from A to B intact is a challenge. The logistics of not losing it en route. I've lost quite a bit already in 3 years for one reason or another. So there's nothing you can do about it. It just happens. If it'll go wrong, it will go wrong. Well, loads of things go wrong. Sometimes we have product quality issues that are very difficult, especially when you're making product in China. Once it's arrived here, if there's something wrong with it, you can't send it back. You've got to find a way to fix it. So that's always difficult. But you just overcome every problem as you go and keep going, really. So, but logistics is hard, and at the moment we're looking to choose a fulfillment warehouse in the States, and it's really hard to decide, do you have one, do you have more than one, do you put it in the middle of the country, do you put it by the coast, all that. You think, where am I likely to be sending my stuff to? It could be anywhere. How do you decide if it's the right place to put it? It's hard.
Well, that was going to lead me on nicely to my next question, where I was going to say, how do you overcome those challenges? How do you answer those really important questions?
Well, you just ask as many questions as you can, and like with the fulfillment warehouse, I sort of feel like I might have to go back again to go and once we've. Actually, if I look at it another way, we've now got 3 manufacturers in China, and choosing manufacturers is quite hard as well. Because we've got 3 types of product now. We sell clocks. We've got one manufacturer for clocks. We sell things like this, which are classroom resources. So we've got a separate manufacturer for these. And we sell children's wristwatches. So we've got a separate manufacturer for those. And my brothers tended to do all the product development and finding manufacturers. But, you know, that involves trips to China. That involves endless hours on Alibaba, looking at who can make what, and the endless hours emailing back and forth, trying to decipher the language difficulties, you know. And then we get samples. We usually, looking for manufacturers, we'll get samples from a few, then we'll check out the samples, and it whittles it down to one in the end, usually based on how good the samples are and how easy they are to deal with, how easy they are to communicate with. And I think choosing overseas partners at either end of the manufacturing or distribution scale, the only way you can do it is start with a few and whittle it down depending on how you get on. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing your experiences.